Everybody always picking on me.
That's him on his knee. I know that's him. Yelling seven come a living down in the boy Jim. Charlie Brown, Charlie Brown. He's a clown. That Charlie Brown. Oh, he's all I get wrong. Just you wait and see.
Now why is everybody always picking on me?
Who's always riding on the wall? Who's always moving in the hall? Who's always throwing spin ball? I guess
Who, me?
yeah, yeah. Walked in the classroom, cool and smooth. Who knows the English? Teacher Daddy, you, Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown, he's a clown. That Charlie Brown. Oh, he's gonna get caught. Just you wait and see.
Now why is everybody always picking on me?
Making her first appearance in the United States in over 20 years, Laverne Baker.
Tim Dandy to the rescue. Tim Dandy to the rescue. Tim Dandy to the rescue. Go Tim Dandy, go Tim Dandy. Tim Dandy on a mountain top. 30,000 feet to drop. Spider lady on a runaway horse. That's right, of course. Tim Dandy to the rescue. Well, go Tim Dandy, go Tim Dandy. Tim Dandy met a girl named Sue. She was feeling kind of blue. Tim Dandy is the kind of guy never liked to see a little girl cry. Tim Dandy to the rescue. Well, go Tim Dandy, go Tim Dandy, go, go, go. 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 Tim Dandy, so long, Tim Dandy. He's gone, baby.
They were the leading exponents of the smooth soul sound of the 70s. The Spinners.
Oh, this is great. When you were so in love with me, I played around like I was free. Thought I could have my cake and eat it too. But how I cried over losing you. See, I'm down and out, but I ain't about to go living my life without you. Hey, and every day I made you cry. I'll pay you, girl, till the day I die. I'll be working my way back to you, babe, with the burning. I said I'm working my way back to you, babe, and the happiness of life, I just let it get away. And I'll keep working my way back to you, babe. And I'll keep working my way back to you, babe. The happiness, I'll never just get away. Paying every day. And I've been my way back to you, babe. Way back to you, babe. And all the happiness, I let it get away. Paying every day.
He's a former lead singer for the Drifters and a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the great Benny King.
I know, oh, there goes my baby, moving on down the line, wondering where she found it. I broke her heart, I made her cry. now I'm alone. I need my baby. I need my baby. My baby. There goes my baby. I can find my baby. There goes my baby. I need my baby. There goes my baby. I need my baby. There she goes. There she goes. There she goes. You can dance every dance with the guy who gives you the eye, let him hold you tight. You can smile, every smile for the man who held your hand neath the velvet light. But don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. Oh, I know that the music's fine like sparkling wine. Go and have your fun. Let them sing while we're apart. Don't give your heart to anyone. And darling, don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. Oh, so darling, save the last dance for me. Oh, now baby, don't you know I love you so? Can't you feel it when we touch? I would never, never let you go. I love you oh so much. Oh, you can dance and go and carry on till the night is gone and it's time to go. Oh, if he asks if you all alone, can he take you home and maybe tell him no? And darling, don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. And my darling, my darling. And woman, 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 woman. Say the last dance. Won't you say the last dance? Save it for me. Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much and bless you.
Lo tenemos todo, disfrutemos todo, 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 y todo, cuanto lo queremos, aquí encontraremos todo, 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 lo tenemos todo.
All over the southern hemisphere. And if you think the people here in Rio, they like their summers, you should see what the people in Australia are doing today.
Can we do that?
Well, sure we can do that, Robin. I mean, this is television. We can do anything. So let's take a look at the women of Australia.
Australia was one of the world's last frontiers, untamed, wide open, and filled with strange animals. Today, the frontier has given way to change and progress, and it's reflected in the lifestyle of the women who live here, work here, and play here.
I think Australian women, American women, we're different in some ways. We're a little bit more liberated, I think, when it comes to bearing all at the beach.
In a country where the role of women is anything but traditional, this former Australian Playmate of the Year is following at least one Aussie tradition, a love of the outdoor life.
What's your favorite thing about Australia?
Just the outdoor living, the easygoing type of lifestyle. It's not an expensive place to live, and I think it's a lucky country. I think it's brilliant. I wouldn't live anywhere else in the world. I'm an all-Australian girl.
There are a lot of beaches in Australia, but why is this one your favorite?
Well, Chuck, as you can see, there's a lot of beautiful girls down here. There's a lot of beautiful looking guys too.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's really nice. It's a lovely hot beach, isn't it? It's very wind protected. It's beautiful.
Australian women aren't just gorgeous, they're hard-working too. In fact, women make up almost 50% of the workforce. So when they have time off, they flock to the beaches, adding another touch of beauty to this already exquisite scenery.
I don't understand why they bother buying one-piece bathing suits if they're just going to roll the top down anyhow.
Well, the look hasn't spread much beyond the beach. And anyway, Robin, in Australia they don't have topless restaurants or topless freeways. Although, you know, when you come to
Chuck,
think of it...
Where are we going next?
Well, actually, we're going to go back home to the good old USA to take a look at the women of America.
Hey, what am I?
Well, Robin, we've already met you.
All right. In that case, let's go. They call America the land of opportunity. Well, you don't need to remind Laura Milligan of that. She grew up in a small town of farmers and coal miners in southern Illinois. Then, one day while shopping for a prom dress in a Kentucky mall, Laura's life changed forever. John Casablanca was there conducting a search for new models.
We struttled in and just got in line and went up and showed my senior pictures to them. And he called about 2 days later and said, "You have potential to be a model."
Out of 5,000 girls, Laura was among only 5 selected to come to New York and work for Elite. After 3 years of training in Europe, Laura is now modeling successfully in the U.S.
To really be a cover girl and a professional model, I think you really have to have a look that's quite American to work here, and a personality and professionalism, because you are sent out to the magazines 100 times before they work with you, until they realize that you are professional and that you want this.
Laura is now starting her acting career. She just finished a role in the motion picture Moon over Parador.
My ultimate dream in life is to have a very successful career in acting, and also I want to have a lot of children. I'd like to have a ranch with horses, you know? I'd like to have a happy life.
Got your money,
From rural schoolgirl to top cover model, a unique version of the American dream come true.
I came from nowhere, and because I am an American, I had a chance to meet people, and because of my background, it didn't hold me back. I can go ahead and do what I'm doing now very successfully.
Hey, Robin, no trip to Rio de Janeiro be complete without a stop at a Rio disco. And this is the latest fashion disco, a little place called Zoom, right up the track.
Why don't we stop this hemisphere hopping and stay right here and find a woman of the world?
You know what? I think that's a good idea. I'm getting tired of it myself, and we ought to be able to find a good real woman of the world somewhere on this floor. In fact, right here, this lovely lady with the blue dress and long hair. Hi. Hi. Would you like to be a real woman of the world?
Oh, of course.
Andrea Menezes. She's the classic Brazilian woman. Young, relaxed, brown-haired, dark-eyed, with golden bronze skin and a romantic flair. Andrea is a university student and a working woman, born and raised here in Rio, and seems to be in perfect tune with the world's most distinctive city. In fact, it's hard for her to imagine that anyone even bothers to live anywhere else.
I love my city. I think I wouldn't like to live in another city or other country. I have my friends here, the beach, my school, my job. I work in a jewelry. And what kind of my life, it's all here.
Rio is a city set amid a spectacular backdrop of mountains and ocean. But the centerpiece is the beach, miles and miles of it. And Andrea spends much of her free time here. The beach is the center of social activity in Rio and a major staging site for singles. So what kind of man could change Andrea's single status?
I think every girl look for a special prince. I prefer Brazilian ones. They are close to me. I know them more than the others.
If you can wear it on your finger, hang it around your neck, or hook it on your earlobe, Brazil exports it. Fine jewelry is big business, and Andrea works at selling it at the largest jewelry store in South America, H. Stern. But we'll best remember Andrea expressing the carefree lifestyle of the young women of Brazil, the sensuous magic that is Rio.
In America, a lot of Americans think that Brazilian women are very beautiful, very sexy. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think because our color of the skin, our samba, our music, all this contributes to make us different. You call sexy, I call happy. Each one has a different way to see what we are.
Rio de Janeiro is the perfect place, Robin, to do a show about women of the world.
It's just 6,300 miles from LA, and that's only 12 hours of flight time.
Yeah, in this modern city of 8 million people, more than half the population is under 21. And it seems that all of them congregate on the white sand beaches in temperatures that range from 60 to 95 degrees.
For over a quarter of a century, the LA connection to Rio has been Varig Airlines, and for a round-trip cost of about $900, you can change your dreary winter to an exciting Rio summer. All right, Chuck, you're talking about exciting cities of the world, and you said Asia. Is it Tokyo?
No, although I like Tokyo quite a bit, but for me, the most exciting city in the world, without question, is Hong Kong. And I'll show you why.
You're from Mexico, and then they had to give it back.
Well, I'm not sure, but I think a lot of people on the East Coast, Robin, are probably very happy about that. But anyhow, you know the British and the old tradition of fair play?
Yeah.
Well, it's still alive and well. In fact, we're about to meet a woman who, well, she probably had more at stake in the last royal wedding than Andrew or Fergie.
If there's one thing the British love, it's good old-fashioned pomp and circumstance. And nowhere was this more apparent than in the last two royal weddings. At the wedding of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, there was even a great deal of pre-wedding interest centered on how Fergie's wedding dress would handle her slightly more than ample figure. It may have been the most talked-about dress in history, and its ultimate success brought fame to the woman who designed it.
I just got a call and was asked to present some sketches, which I did. And I think she made up her mind very quickly, which was lovely.
When you got the nod to go ahead with it, how'd you feel?
I was so excited, I couldn't believe it. I dropped the telephone, first of all, and then we cracked a bottle of champagne, and we never looked back. Yeah.
How'd you feel when you saw her coming down the aisle in your dress that you...
Oh, absolutely thrilled. Every wedding that I do is very important, and every bride always looks absolutely beautiful, but she was just the tops.
When we come back, you'll meet two of Argentina's most famous performers. They're known as the Tango Twins. Welcome to the Casablanca, one of the many nightclubs in Buenos Aires that feature the traditional songs and dances of Argentina. It's the songs that tell the story of the tango, and nightclubs compete for performers as pretty and talented as this. But at the Casablanca, customers are twice blessed. Marcela and Fernando Priera are known as the Tango Twins. Like many Argentines, they have been singing and dancing the tango since childhood.
How old were you when you started to dance?
Since we were children, our parents danced, so naturally we were interested and we liked it.
That's usually how it happens here, especially for everyone our age. Your parents teach you the dance, and you begin to dance it with others, and then you begin to like the tango.
The twins turned professional at the age of 11, making television appearances, record albums, and performing throughout South America. At the Casablanca, they do 2 shows a night, 7 nights a week. It's a grueling pace that requires 16 costume changes and a double role as performers and MCs.
Now, when you're not working here at the club and you've got a day off, free time, what do you like to do?
Y bueno, durante el día, como vivimos juntas y con nuestros padres, vamos a hacer pesas al gimnasio.
During the day, since we live together with our parents, we go work out together, ride our bikes, go shopping, and then in the evening, from Monday to Monday, we work at the Casablanca de Buenos Aires.
The twins have always loved performing the tango. Still, they lead a particularly hectic life, even for Buenos Aires, one of South America's busiest cities. Here, people work hard and play even harder. It's a trait that makes Buenos Aires one of the most...
But I expect to have an even better time on the next show.
Well, you're only saying that, Robin, because next time we're going to be taking a look at the men of the world.
So let's give you a little sneak peek at some of the men we're going to meet. And believe me, ladies, they're hot.
You'll meet a polo-playing Jamaican, a Brazilian beach boy majoring in volleyball, and Australia's biggest folk heroes, the lifeguards. In Italy, we'll introduce you to a man who epitomizes style, Giorgio Armani. And here at home, we'll show you an Olympic hopeful who finances his quest for the gold by bearing it all.
I know you won't want to miss this one. I'm Robin Greer.
And I'm Olympic boxing trials. Dwayne Bobbitt came from the Navy for a shocking win over a fighter named Larry Holmes. 1976, the flashing hands and speed of Sugar Ray Leonard went center ring. 1984, the man on the right, Mike Tyson, lost a fight in the trials to Henry Tillman. And now come the new ones, so young they seem, but carved from the same fiber as all those who have come before. This Olympic year, U.S. boxers will travel far to Seoul, Korea.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport.
And they're on. He's going to run the first 4-minute mile. I'm always confident I'm with all of them.
The thrill of victory.
Pele has scored in his last half for the Cosmos. The biggest upset in the history of Little League.
And the agony of defeat.
Look at him go! Oh, baby. Yarborough right out of the racetrack.
The human drama of athletic competition.
World record number 72. Leonard trying to put him away. Down the stretch they come. It's a driving finish. Winning colors by a head.
In our 28th year
is the Concord Pavilion, which will serve this weekend as the amateur boxing capital of America. Today, America's premier amateur boxers square off for a shot at the games of the 24th Olympiad. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, speaking to you from our host position here at the Pavilion. This afternoon, ABC Sports resumes its 5-month-long coverage of the U.S. Olympic trials with 2 hours of live boxing. Then tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, we'll feature another 2 hours of boxing as the first step toward determining the U.S. Olympic boxing team draws to a conclusion. Then next Saturday, we'll be at the climactic box-off in Las Vegas, where the jackpot means a September trip to Seoul. We'll also begin the first of 2 weekends of coverage from the track and field trials in Indianapolis. Then in August, our focus will switch to gymnastics, swimming, diving, cycling, and basketball as Coca-Cola presents the Olympic trials. It all culminates with our final show on August the 28th, at which time we'll know the identities of our 1988 Olympians. We already know some of their names, and later today, we'll look back at a few of the stories that have developed thus far from the trials. Also today, we're going to speak live with boxing great Sugar Ray Leonard, who may be looking for yet another fight. And we'll talk with 110-meter hurdler Greg Foster, the 1987 world champion, who may miss the Olympics because of a broken arm. But for the story on today's boxing, let's go live now to ringside and my pal and colleague, Keith Jackson. Keith?
Frank, thanks very much. There are several points I think we need to make before we begin this live coverage of 2 days of competition, 6 title bouts out of the trials today and 6 again tomorrow. I guess first the question is, who are these young people? Where do they come from and how did they get here? Because the road to any Olympic Games is long and has some bumps. There were 8 fighters from 12 weight categories brought here, 96 in total, to Concord, California. Now, 2 of them came out of the U.S. Championships in Colorado Springs, 2 in each weight class. 2 more in each of the 12 weight classes came from the Armed Forces Championship held in San Diego. Then 1 each came out of the National Golden Gloves, Omaha, Nebraska. 1 each from the Eastern Olympic Trials, which were held in Fayetteville, North Carolina. 1 from the Western Trials, which were held in Houston, Texas. And then 1 in each weight class was chosen by committee from the select team. Now, once in Concord, California, for the Olympic trials, the quarterfinals were held Tuesday, the semifinals held Thursday, and the 6 finals today, and then 6 more tomorrow. And the 12 winners will go from here next weekend to Las Vegas. And there they'll have the box-off against the top challenger, or as the Federation phrases it, the most noteworthy opponent. This is done to make sure the 12 best will make the trip to the Olympics in Seoul, Korea. Now, this U.S. Olympic boxing team at this time does not have a head coach. Ken Adams held that job, but he got into a ruckus with a controller of the federation, allegedly assaulted him after an argument and an altercation. Adams was suspended. He has appealed that suspension. A hearing is scheduled for next week. A final decision will be made at that time. Either Adams will be reinstated or a new person will be named the head coach of the U.S. Olympic boxing team, and they sorely need that issue to be settled at this particular time. There are two 17-year-olds that will fight in this tournament. There is a 27-year-old that will fight in this tournament. They come from all walks of life and from all over the country. Two titles have already been decided here in these Olympic trials. At 132 pounds, Romalis Ellis of Ellenwood, Georgia, took a 5-0 decision over Lyndon Walker of Washington, D.C. It was a very good fight, and Ellis earns his way into the box off next week in Las Vegas. At 147 pounds, the welterweight Ken Gould on the left of Rockford, Illinois, took a 5-0 decision over Ron Morgan of Cincinnati, and so Kenny Gould is off to Las Vegas as well. We hope we'll have some time to show you some highlights from those two fights later on. We're standing by now for 119 pounds, Kennedy McKinney and Jamal Hinton. First, let us set the rules. They are different from professional boxing. Scoring a 20-point must with 5 judges. Referee doesn't have a vote. Scoring a blow must come with the landing of the white knuckle portion of the closed glove. Headgear mandatory. Doctor can stop the bout at any time. 3 3-minute rounds, and it is closely supervised and controlled. A key point, too, a knockdown counts only as 1 punch. Now, in the semifinals, bantamweight Kennedy McKinney was dropped by veteran Michael Collins. Stiff right hand, he sort of crumpled. Now, McKinney got off the floor and won the fight. That was scored as 1 punch and 1 punch only on the scorecards of the 5 judges. So keep that in mind as we go through the fight. And now we go to the ring. And coming out of the red corner in the blue shirt, that is Kennedy McKinney, now living in Killeen, Texas. Jamal Hinton from District Heights, Maryland, is in the white. He's fighting out of Sugar Ray Leonard's club, graduate of Eleanor Roosevelt High School last year. He's in the white, and Kennedy McKinney in the blue. McKinney is more of an upright fighter, more of a counter puncher than Hinton. Hinton, on the other hand, will point you a little bit, sets his feet wide apart. That gives him the foundation for some very good power. But right there is an example of where McKinney hopes to work best today. There's a good short right hand inside by Hinton that jarred McKinney. But McKinney is hoping that combinations, and particularly the quick combinations at range, will help him in controlling the power of Jamal Hinton. Now, Hinton defeated McKinney on points in the finals of the National Amateur Championship. Hinton will sting you. Alex Wallow, scheduled to be with us on these telecasts this weekend. His health not permitting him to make the trip. We hope he'll be able to join us next weekend in Las Vegas for the box off. He feels much as I do and the rest of us about these young people. You've got to believe in them and give them support and help them. And this group of young Olympians looks very, very promising. It's been a long, bumpy road to get this far, and it ain't over. Jamal Hinton in the white, Kennedy McKinney in the blue shirt. Good, hard, straight right hand whipped in there by Hinton. I tell you one thing, Kennedy McKinney cannot stand in front of Jamal Hinton, give him that much of a target. If he does, Hinton's going to pick him to pieces. The referee in this fight is Carmen Williamson. He does not have a vote. The judges are Jerry Dusenberry, Ray Cartier, Elmo Adolph, Bill Wackerly, and Vern Sweeney. They do all the balloting. Hey! Carmen Williamson, retired now after some 43 years as a government employee. Working for 43 years, Carmen said it was time to go really enjoy things, and he's doing it. And there's a wicked combination right there by McKinney. Very good counterpunching on the break. Hinton stepped in, threw his punch to the body, and McKinney made him pay for it. Both fighters landed in that exchange. Come off about even, and that's a good shot by McKinney again. the head of Hinton. The left hand, and Kennedy McKinney in the blue. I would say coming off that first round, it's probably very close in the scoring. I thought McKinney might need to be a little bit busier because it was Hinton who made much of the fight. So McKinney scored well as a counterpuncher, but you've got to help make the fight. Otherwise, it'll hurt you when it comes time to totaling the points. Jamal Hinton's younger brother, or older brother, Van Daly, lost in the quarterfinals here at the trial. Flurry on the ropes, good right hand thrown by McKinney. But Hinton pins him right back into the ropes and pummels him. Finally, McKinney fights his way off, but Hinton right now is having the better of this flurry. That's a hard left straight to the face by Hinton. Hey! They have met one time previously, as we told you. Hinton won the national championship over McKinney, and that's a slip. Got his feet tangled up. Got his feet tangled up. So they wipe the gloves and they go back at it. He started to step across, and locked his feet, lost his balance, and down he went. That's a pretty good combination work there by Kennedy McKinney. Of course, one of the things you can see some of the teachings here for Jamal Hinton by his coach, Junius Hinton. When stung, fight seriously, and he has done that. And McKinney has stung him some. Hank Johnson is the coach of McKinney. That staggered Hinton. May not have hurt him, but it certainly snapped his head back, and it stopped him in his tracks. So maybe the best blow of the fight, at least the most obvious, by McKinney. McKinney wearing the Army headgear because that's the club he's working out of. Hank Johnson, of course, Army coach, brother of Marvin Johnson, the light heavy champion. Remember that? Winding down to the final seconds, and this is not McKinney country. This belongs to Hinton. Jamal's got him pinned on the ropes and doing the scoring there. It remains, however, a tough, close fight. Is still on the line. That was a furious round of action with both men scoring heavily. McKinney much busier in that second round, and the decision may very well hang here in round number 3. Hinton, feet wide spread, good foundation. Not all that much movement by Hinton. McKinney trying to get off a little quicker now to take some of the sting out of the charge from Jamal Hinton, because when he comes loaded. McKinney so far now able to peck away and get off first with that jab, and it'll do just what you saw there, just enough out of balance to make the retaliation short. Carmen Williamson is the referee. Hinton working to the body and doing it well, and a hard right coming over the top. McKinney comes back with a wicked combination to the head of Hinton. Boy, this is a tough fight, 119 pounders. Hard right hand by Hinton, good left hand by Hinton. That hurt McKinney, but McKinney still has that left hand. He said last night with that bright, sunny smile that he carries around, he said, I can fight. I'm mean enough. I'm tough enough. Good left, good right by McKinney. Furious flurry again, and it probably comes off about even. McKinney beats him to the punch. Now the corner told to stop coaching. You can't coach during the course of the fight. Crowd doesn't know that. They hoot. They'll jump your bones in international competition for that. Sometimes they can penalize your fighting. Hinton pinned on the ropes, but Jamal fights his way off the ropes. You're going to need some sharp pencils for this one. Even though sometimes it comes down as a 5-0 decision, it can be very, very close on each of the scorecards. Kennedy McKinney in the blue, Jamal Hinton in the white. Hinton trying to come in for a closing flurry in the final half minute. And he's got McKinney pinned on the ropes. And Carmen Williamson is letting them stay there as long as they're fighting, and they're fighting. Now McKinney goes to the hook. Good right hand by McKinney. Now Hinton is in the corner, and it's McKinney doing the heavy scoring right here. Hinton may be in some trouble. McKinney keeps him there and scores with 3 successive hard rights, a good left, and a standing 8 count by the referee, Carmen Williamson. This may have some impact on this fight as we come down to the close of it, because it was a furious rally by Kennedy McKinney. The crowd roaring from that. But you saw that huge, furious closing rally of McKinney. And he simply had Jamal Hinton in the corner and wouldn't let him off the hook. And pinned there, he pounded him. He landed 3 good, hard right hands, 2 of them there. And Carmen Williamson finally decided that's enough. I want to give this young man a standing 8 count. And he did. And shortly after the 8 count, the bell sounded, the fight ended, and Kennedy McKinney has himself a unanimous decision. And where is my microphone? I'm going to be talking to him right here. Look right in there, Kennedy. You said yesterday, I was kidding him a little bit yesterday. See that scar? He says that's not from boxing, that's from playing basketball. Yeah. But he says, I'll fight. I know that sunny smile I carry around is deceiving. Well, you were right.
That's right. I told you I could fight. And I showed it right there. I fought, right? I had a grudge against him because he beat me in the finals of the National. So I had to prove something to him. And I think a lot of people thought that I won in the National, and I didn't get the decision, but right here, wasn't no doubt.
No, there wasn't.
I'm champ.
The closing flurry, there have been times, I think, when someone may have suggested that you might have worked a little harder, so you carried that stamina into the final minute of the fight.
Yeah.
Boy, you sure had it today.
Oh, yeah. I worked hard for it. 30 days of hard training up in the mountains of Arizona. Hey, I deserve it. I worked for it. When you work hard, good things come to you. And I think I deserve that one.
Well, there's nobody in this building going to argue with you, my man.
I know that's right.
Now you go on to Las Vegas and the box off, which means you've got 1 more or maybe 2 more hard fights.
1 more. Ain't gonna be 2 more. It's 1 more hard fight. Whoever it may be him, it might be Mike Collins. I beat them both. I beat them 1 more time. Because I know I'm on the verge. They got to beat me twice, and I don't think they can do it. I don't think so.
You want that gold, don't you?
I want that gold.
Attaboy.
Thanks a lot.
Kennedy, it's nice to see you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kennedy McKinney. What a heck of a fight at 119 pounds. We'll go next in our live coverage to 106 pounds. They call them light flyweights. That is Michael Carbajal, and he is a very well-schooled, complete young fighter. Young man who's paying a price. Here's how much. Frank Gifford narrates.
Just after dawn in the downtown streets of Phoenix, Arizona, a lonely, almost frail figure runs. Michael Carbajal almost always follows the same route. And except for his brother and trainer Danny, who follows on a bicycle, Michael Carbajal runs alone.
I consider myself a loner because I do everything on my own, my whole routine every day, 6 days a week. By training alone and my self-discipline, I think it does give me that advantage because I never take, you know, anybody or anyone lightly. I always perform up to my highest potential. I still push myself all the time.
Michael's lonely workouts are a result of his training in a homemade gym in the backyard, where he is the sole client. Even when the temperature crosses 100 degrees, you can find Michael going through his solitary routine, which is ironic, because Michael's upbringing was anything but lonely. This is Phoenix's Carbajal clan, gathered for a backyard barbecue. Being the youngest of Mary and Manuel Carbajal's 9 children, there were always plenty of kids around. And since most are now married with children and are still living in Phoenix, their get-togethers for birthdays, holidays, and welcome-back parties for Michael mean about 30 people and plenty of food. But even surrounded by the love of his family, Michael stands somewhat apart. He has set a goal for himself, and his thoughts never stray far from that backyard gym and the vision he has of himself on a victory stand in a faraway country this September.
Me standing on the platform in Seoul with the gold medal around my neck and hearing the national anthem, it's going to be a great feeling. My whole body's going to be all heated up there. And I'm just going to feel real warm, probably happiest I ever been in my life. I can't wait till that feeling comes, because it's going to come.
That'll give you some idea of the kind of a price that has to be paid to box at this. Seemed to bother me. He's a very soft-spoken youngster. Kenny Weldon is his coach. Danny Carbajal, as you saw in the up-close and personal feature, the coach for Michael. And that's a pretty good left hand that Eric Griffin has brought to the fight today. Referee does not have a vote. They use 10-ounce gloves through the light middleweight, 156 pounds. After 156, they go to 12-ounce gloves. So these are 10-ounce gloves. And the headgear is required. And if you want to know who's really in control of things here at ringside, it's the doctor. He can stop the fight anytime he sees fit. Eric Griffin hasn't changed expression all day. He got up this morning with that same fixed look on his face, and he hasn't changed a bit. And he is winging and winging and winging right now. Griffin forcing the fight, giving the impression that he is making the fight, and perhaps here scoring the better up to that point where Carbajal nailed him with a left hand and almost put him on the seat of his britches. But Griffin just hangs in and just keeps on coming back. Michael Carbajal is he's about as good as anybody around in the world at his weight, but he's getting all he wants right now from Eric Griffin. Carbajal beat Pepe Riley and Brian Lonnon, the Armed Forces champion, to get into the trials final. Eric Griffin defeated Mark Johnson and James Harris to get here. Now the poise of Michael Carbajal perhaps starting to show a little bit. A lot of those outside flurries, the wing shots that are coming from Eric Griffin, and not really scoring any points for him. Carbajal, you notice, doesn't waste a lot of energy. His punches are pretty straight, and he's pretty much coming straight at you as we come down toward the end of round number one. I wouldn't almost drop Griffin. That right hand, that short, straight right hand. One of the things about Carbajal, he is a heavy-handed boxer, for his weight particularly so. And he just tends to, his history is he accelerates as the fight goes on. And punching down, a heavy-handed boxer is eventually going to take his toll on a fellow the stature of Eric Griffin. But let me tell you something. Mr. Griffin's a gamer. He came out and threw everything, including somebody's hoe handle at Carbajal in that first round, trying to fluster him, trying to find an edge, and Michael just wouldn't let him have it. His poise held him up, and now watch him go to work. Watch Carbajal go to work. Watch how precise and accurate he can be. Accuracy sometimes in international competition may be more worthy than sheer power. Carbajal in the closing minute of the first round started to work more to the body of Griffin and scored heavily to the body in the last half minute. But Eric seems to be fit so far, so apparently the toll has not taken. Well, 5'2", he gets called a lot for that, ducking his head as he tries to get into a taller opponent, giving away 3.5 inches. Griffin in the gold, Carbajal in the red. But notice the quick hands of Michael Carbajal, how accurate he can be on a short inside flurry like that. That's the left hand of Carbajal that broke up that flurry. Danny the coaching.
That's the one.
They built a little gym in the backyard. That's the 9th Street gym that he wears on the back of his sweatshirt. He's truly, truly dedicated. When you can have this kind of dedication in this kind of a sport at age 21 while developing areas for eventual occupation in life, it carries over. Eric Griffin still trying to make the fight, still having to go straight at Michael Carbajal, but this round so far has seemingly been the possession of Carbajal as we come down to the last 15 seconds. The preciseness of Carbajal and the reach. Or perhaps more. Eric Griffin, the shorter of the two, straight ahead, a lot of punches, winging away, forcing things. Carbajal, precise, accurate, and accelerating through the second round. Now the final 3 minutes. The winner goes to the box off next week in Las Vegas. This guarantees that. The loser, who knows? That is up to the selection committee. The most noteworthy opponent covers a lot of people at this level of amateur boxing. Pretty good right hand to the rib cage by Eric Griffin that time. But you see Carbajal, he's taken possession of the center of the ring now. And he's letting Griffin work around him, picking his spots. That's Kenny Weldon watching his young charge, Eric Griffin. Griffin is 20, born in Lafayette, Louisiana, now lives in Houston, Texas. Whereas Griffin, right now at age 20, is boxing pretty much full time, trying to reach for that gold medal, the opportunity for it. Carbajal, on the other hand, drives a truck for a printing company in Phoenix, Arizona. When a boxer takes possession of the center of the ring, as Carbajal has done, that is something of a tip-off that he may well have become the stronger of the two. But I don't know if that's necessarily the case, because Eric Griffin brings a heart as big as a mountain at 106 pounds. Griffin pay for that step inside. He nailed him with a good, solid combination to the head. Eric Griffin still winging away as we are inside now the final half minute of this 106-pound light flyweight fight. U.S. Olympic trial. And two good right hands there by Eric Griffin. He is relentless. You cannot rest with him. Carbajal trying to close with a flurry, and the fight is over. Right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, winner by unanimous decision in the blue corner, Michael Carbajal.
Well, no question, Eric Griffin's heartbroken. He felt he had a better shot at it. He felt yesterday when I talked to him that he had a chance at it. But there's one perhaps revealing thing that surfaces in this level of competition. Now, Eric Griffin has never had an international fight. He's never been in international competition. Michael Carbajal, on the other hand, has fought 12 times at the international level against tough people, and he has won 8 times at the international level. And as he sits down in the chair to join me for a chat here, let me ask you, Michael, I felt that your experience at the international level, having had 12 fights and won 8 of them, may very well have been a big factor in this one.
Yeah, it was a close fight, you know. It was real tough, and I thought I put it out in the first and third rounds. He had a good second round, but they were all close rounds, and it was a tough fight.
I thought your poise, your ability, your precision, your accuracy was a big factor when you sort of took control in the second round.
Yeah, I'm real calm. I'm always relaxed. You know, I was taught since I was small to relax. Before I was real tense all the time, but now I had my experience going on, and I felt real relaxed, so I think that was...
I tell you what, Michael, if you go and win a gold medal, or even if you don't win a gold medal, I'll help you lobby with Dana to get a fan put in that gym in the backyard. That place looks hot.
Yeah, it is hot. But, you know, we always thought about putting a fan, but I might end up getting sick or something. But it's hot back there, but I like it. You know, that's where I got
That's where the
everything
stamina comes from, isn't it?
That's where it comes from.
You're characterized as being a heavy-handed fighter for 106 pounds.
Yeah, I think ever since I was small, I was taught to hit with my whole body, not, you know, just pity-pat all the time. And I think I'm pretty heavy-handed also. So.
You are. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Look forward to seeing you next weekend.
Okay. Hi, Ma. Rita. Hi.
Michael Carbajal, the winner at 106 pounds. And now, let's join Frank Gifford, our host.
Thank you very much, Keith. Michael Carbajal saying hello to all that family down in Phoenix, and there are a lot of them. They are celebrating right at the moment, and maybe the next time around it'll be an Eric Griffin. But Michael Carbajal has put in that work. You saw it up close and personal, and it has paid off today. On another note, in boxing today, there was a report in the New York Times today that Donald Trump would become an advisor to Mike Tyson, the heavyweight champion, both in boxing and at a financial level. Of course, the New York entrepreneur of mega proportions has been involved in many things, but I talked with him just before we went on the air. He said he was indeed seriously considering getting involved at all levels of the champion, that he had been asked by the champion to do so. He felt that the legal problems with which he was embroiled at the moment with his manager of record, Bill Caton, were all because that Mike Tyson, when he was 20 years old, signed sophisticated contracts that he was really should not have been allowed to get involved in. He also said that, and he said this to me Tuesday night on a cruise around Manhattan, that he felt almost in a paternalistic way to Michael Tyson. He felt that he liked the young man a great deal. He also felt that Robin Givens, Michael Tyson's wife, and his mother-in-law Ruth Roper had been miscast as villains in this role, and that he likes them also. So it sounds like Donald Trump, who has been involved in... That summer, he became known to the world as Sugar Ray Leonard, gold medalist. Howard Cosell was in Montreal for Leonard's Olympic triumph.
Oh, that Cuban fighter is now in desperate trouble. Another standing 8 count. There can be no other way. We're counting down. 18 seconds, 17 seconds left in the fight. 16, 50, 40. Ray Leonard with a right lead and then a left. Cleaning up. The Cuban is ready to go. The referee stops the contest. The crowd goes wild. Ray Leonard, a former Park Maryland, will go to the University of Maryland now. His dream is realized as he has won himself a gold medal.
Joining us now live from Concord, California, Ray Leonard. And Ray, you kind of whispered to yourself, that was 12 years ago. Long time. Goes quickly.
12 years ago, Frank, and I still think about it. And being here in Concord for the Olympic trials is quite reminiscing to see these young men go all out to qualify. Not just win a gold medal, but first of all, to qualify and make the team first. So I can relate to these young men. It's a long and hard road.
You were critical of this team a couple of months ago when they fought against Cuba. What do you feel about them now?
I wasn't too impressed with the team when I saw, well, it wasn't the full team. It was some of the second guys. And when they went against the Cubans in Atlantic City. But what I've seen here today, it's been very impressive. I look forward to an enormous and very talented team for his whole career.
All right, Leonard, Ray, there have been people that have said that you are here in another capacity, not only as an advisor to the Olympic team, but you're here maybe perhaps looking for some new fighters for your own boxing stable.
That's true also.
Nothing wrong with that, is
nothing
looking
wrong
around?
With that. First and foremost, I'm here to make sure that we have the best team qualified.
I think the critique might be that maybe you were not handling the role of the advisor as well as you were handling the role of the scout.
Well, I have yet to be given the role, and they've yet to use my knowledge and experience. But I think once we select a coach, because so far we don't have an Olympic coach, Frank, but once we get a coach, we'll work together to collaborate and exchange ideas, and in doing so, I think we have a better chance of bringing back gold medals.
All right, Ray, let's talk about you. Every other day we read another rumor. You may come back, you're going to fight this fighter, you're going to fight that fighter, it's going to be Hagler again. What are your plans?
Well, I haven't said anything thus far. I mean, I initially stated I would fight Hagler again, but he's resumed a career in movies. And Tommy Hearns is not available. The way things stand now, Frank, I'm going to take care of the Olympic team here, and after the Olympic Games, then maybe I'll talk professional boxing as far as Ray Leonard is concerned.
Well, Ray, we appreciate you joining us once again. It's always a pleasure to be with you. Our best to Juanita, the little guys, Ray, and Bobo.
Thank you, Frank.
And good luck with this.
Thank you, Frank.
Ray Leonard, one of the great champions. You know, there are many who dream of the glory Sugar Ray Leonard enjoyed in 1976. And all over the country, thousands of people are trying out for the U.S. Olympic team. Only about 650, however, will actually make it to Seoul. Each sport has its own special story. We've known a lot of them. But to get better acquainted with some of the stories and personalities that have emerged, let's hop aboard the Seoul train.